Imagine you're a child, sitting alone in a quiet room. On the table in front of you is a single marshmallow. The instructions are simple. You can eat it now. Or if you wait 15 minutes, you'll get 2 marshmallows. What would you do? As simple as it sounds, this experiment has been called one of the most important studies in psychology. It revealed a hidden truth about human nature, one that can shape your health, your relationships, even your happiness. And today, I want to show you why this marshmallow test is more than just a quirky experiment. It's a doorway into understanding self-control and how you can strengthen it in your own life. Here's where we're going. First, we'll break down the marshmallow test itself, what the researchers discovered. Then, we'll explore what it really teaches us about willpower, temptation, and freedom. Finally, we will uncover practical strategies you can start using today to strengthen your self-control in small ways that build up to massive changes. Part 1. The experiment. In the late 1960s and early 70s, psychologist Walter Mischel at Stanford University ran an infamous experiment. He invited young children, usually around 4 or 5 years old, into a room. Each child was offered a treat, a marshmallow, a cookie, sometimes even a pretzel stick. Then came the instructions. You can eat this now, but if you wait until I come back, you'll get to eat too. The researcher left the room with the cameras rolling, and the children were left alone with temptation. The reactions were priceless. Some kids grabbed the marshmallow immediately. Others held out for a few seconds before giving in, but a few managed to resist. They covered their eyes, sang songs, tapped their fingers, turned away from the treat, even invented little games to distract themselves. 15 minutes later, those who waited were rewarded with a second marshmallow. At first glance, it seemed like a simple test of patience, but what came next shocked the researchers. Years later, they tracked down these children as teenagers and adults, and they found a clear pattern. Those who had resisted the marshmallow tended, on average, to have higher SAT scores, better health, more stable relationships, and even higher career success. The conclusion seemed obvious. The ability to delay gratification, to resist the marshmallow, was a predictor of success in life. Part 2. The deeper lesson. But is it really just about raw willpower? For decades, people thought the marshmallow tests proved that self-control is fixed. Some kids have it, others don't. But further studies showed something more interesting. It wasn't raw discipline that separated the two groups, it was strategy. Children who distracted themselves were the ones who succeeded. They didn't stare at the marshmallow white-knuckling their way through temptation. Instead, they changed the game, turning their attention away, imagining the marshmallow was a cloud, or focusing on something else entirely. In other words, self-control is less about crushing your desires and more about managing your attention. And this brings us to a profound insight. Freedom is not doing whatever you feel like in the moment. True freedom is aligning your choices with your future self. Philosophers have said this for centuries. Aristotle called it temperance, the virtue of balance. The Stoics spoke about mastering your passions. In Christian theology, it's the fruit of the Spirit, self-control. And in cognitive science, it's called executive function. Different names, same truth. Restraint isn't weakness, it's power. Part 3. The science of training self-control. Now, here's the best part. You don't need to be born with iron willpower. Self-control is like a muscle. It can be trained. Modern psychology confirms this. Small acts of delaying gratification strengthen your ability to resist bigger temptations later. Think about it like weightlifting. You don't start by deadlifting 300 pounds, you start small and gradually build up. So how can you start training your self-control muscle today? Here are 3 strategies. Practice. Next time you want to check your phone, wait 60 seconds. When you're hungry for a snack, give it 5 minutes. These tiny pauses train your brain to tolerate waiting, and each pause adds up. 2. Redirect your attention. Remember, the successful kids in the marshmallow test didn't just stare at the marshmallow, they distracted themselves. Try replacing temptation with a different activity. Read a page of a book, stretch, drink water. Change your focus and the craving loses power. 3. Visualize your future self. Studies show that when people vividly imagine themselves in the future, they make better long-term decisions. Before spending impulsively or giving in to a craving, ask, what would my future self thank me for? Part 4. The philosophical payoff. The marshmallow test isn't just about candy, it's about the kind of life you want to build. Impulse says, take the pleasure now. Wisdom says, wait, and the reward will be greater. In philosophy, this is the battle between appetite and reason. In psychology, it's between short-term dopamine and long-term fulfillment. And here's the paradox. People who learn to wait, to restrain, to practice self-control, they don't actually miss out on life. They gain it. They live with greater stability, deeper meaning, and richer rewards. So let me leave you with this. Every day you're faced with your own marshmallow test. Do you check your phone the second it buzzes or stay focused? Do you spend money on impulse or save for the future? Do you give in to comfort now or build the discipline that creates freedom later? Self-control isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about multiplying it. The real question is, Will you eat the marshmallow now, or will you build a life where the rewards only grow sweeter with time?